Before we get started with this episode, I just wanted to share with you that I have a Somatic check-in cheat sheet that is going to be downloadable in the show notes below. So if you find value in this episode, share it with someone, implement it, and go through the cheat sheet because it's going to be really helpful. And let's go on with the show.
This is the Fix Your Sciatica podcast.
And welcome back. Last week, we broke down the 4 categories of pain, which includes nociceptive, neuropathic, nociplastic, and mixed pain. We've established, and welcome back. Last week, we broke down the 4 categories of pain, which includes nociceptive, neuropathic, nociplastic, and mixed types of pain. And we've established that in many chronic sciatica cases, the smoke alarm of the brain can stay on even after the fire of the injury is out. And this is what we call central sensitization. Today, we're going to be talking about the primary tool to recalibrate that alarm, which is called somatic tracking. So if you are dealing with nociplastic pain, where the volume issue, where you cannot stretch the pain away nor strengthen the pain away, it's happening because the issue isn't necessarily with the tissue itself, and it's in the processing of where or how your brain is processing those signals coming from your body. So you have to communicate that with your nervous system. And so if the pain is what is the danger signal, the technique of somatic tracking is going to be how we can send back an actual safety signal. And so when we experience sciatica, we usually react with emotions such as fear, frustration, catastrophe, or hypervigilance. So we poke the pain and we monitor it constantly and we describe it with danger language. Words like the pain is stabbing, it's agonizing, it's terrifying. Am I going to be like this forever? Is there going to be an end to this? Is this going to be my reality moving forward? And what ends up happening is that this confirms to the brain that there is in fact a threat, which keeps the pain at higher levels. Somatic tracking is the practice of observing your physical sensations through a lens of safety, curiosity, and neutrality. So we're not trying to make the pain go away per se at this moment. We are trying to change our relationship, our perception to it. And when the brain realizes that the sensation isn't necessarily dangerous, it will naturally turn the volume down. And so the first part of somatic tracking is actually changing your vocabulary, because we want to strip the emotional charge away from the sensation. So instead of describing your pain as my leg is on fire, try changing it out with I feel a warm, buzzing sensation. Another example of this tracking would be, it is a sharp stabbing knife into my glute. Try switching it to, I feel a localized pressure or tightness. And so by using neutral language, you're telling your safety officer, which is your brain, that there is no emergency and that you are observing data. Very similar to when I approach or assess a patient's pain, I'm looking at it from an objective level, observing data so I can take that information and come up with a conclusion so I can provide the necessary action steps, which would be exercises or stretches. So let's try a little miniature session right now. If you are driving, please wait until you are parked to do this. So the first step is that you are going to be finding your safety anchor. So what that means is you find a place in your body that feels completely neutral or even good. Maybe it's your earlobes, the tips of your nose, or your opposite foot. Spend 30 seconds Just noticing what neutral feels like. And this is going to be your baseline of safety. So I'm just going to pause right here, give you a moment to just find a place, and the 30-second timer starts now. Take note of what you're experiencing. What are you feeling? How would you describe it? This is going to be your baseline. Now, what I'm going to have you do is gently pivot your attention to the area where you feel your pain. With sciatica, it could be your hamstring, it could be your butt, it can be your calf, it can be your low back, it can be a combination of all of them. But just pivot your attention, but do not brace against it. Just be aware. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to be describing the pain without judgment. Watch the sensation as if it were a cloud moving across the sky. Say to yourself, I feel a tingling in my calf. It's moving slightly. It feels a bit like electricity. This is just a sensation produced by a jumpy nervous system. I am physically safe in this moment. Now, it's important to breathe throughout this as well, because if the pain spikes, go back to your safety anchor, your nose, your earlobes, your opposite foot, and remind your brain the sensation is loud, but it is not dangerous. So the question is, why does this work for chronic pain, and why does this work for something like sciatica? When you perform somatic tracking, you are engaging what is called the prefrontal cortex, right here, the logical part of your brain. And you are engaging it to override the signals and the activity from the amygdala, which is the fear center. And over time, this actually teaches your brain that it doesn't necessarily need to protect your back, your nerves, with a 10 out of 10 pain signal. You are effectively unlearning the pain. So your homework for this week is that I want you to practice this neutral observation 3 times a day for about 2 to 5 minutes. You want to do it when the pain is at about a 3 to 4 out of 10. It's much easier to learn this skill when you aren't in a massive flare-up, because it can be very panic-inducing. And your only goal in this is curiosity. Don't check to see if the pain is gone. You want to check to see if you can be okay with the sensation being there. And with that being said, next week we're going to be bringing on our expert guest to discuss pain reprocessing therapy, PRT. And this is a practice of somatic tracking, which is the foundation of that therapy. If you can start sending those safety signals now, you're going to get so much more out of this interview. So you've got this. You are retraining your brain one sensation at a time. Have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you got some help from today's podcast. And for more info, check us out at ifixyoursciatica.com. Have a fantastic and pain-free day. No patient-therapist relationship is formed by listening to this podcast. We are not providing medical advice, and all information should be confirmed by a medical provider.